the buddy system and whether we think it's good and how we can use it to our best advantage. I also wanted to do the touch, if it's separate than the buddy system on the 75-year-old registration help. And finally, like to talk about the vaccination of homebounds. So those are the three issues I'd like to focus on. The first one is let's just talk about the buddy system. My feeling is that it's a very important concept, and that we should be, in spite of the legislators looking like they're getting involved to try to knock it down, my feeling is we should be trying to support it and encourage it. What do you think?
I think we should disregard what legislators are trying to do. The governor has given us an opening to get our seniors and other members in town vaccinated. And if we utilize the other members in town to be our teachers and school personnel, and do that in conjunction with Chloe or whatever database we want to use, Chloe, Carol, Nancy Jenks, and start to match up our teachers and school personnel with seniors and get them all vaccinated, we can get our schools reopened. And I think that ought to be a singular focus of our action. Good. And not to be dissuaded by what legislators or anyone else says. That's what we should recommend.
Okay, I can tell you that I heard back. I gave Carol Hepworth a heads up this morning, saying that I was going to bring up just what you said, and wondered if the schools were behind it, because this is definitely I noticed that you sent to Colleen Herb a note yesterday that said that you were very much in favor of getting the teachers moved forward. And when I thought about it, this is the perfect double gain for us. And what I was hoping was Nancy was gonna be here and Chloe was gonna be here, so we could see if we could join those two forces. But Carol Hepworth said she was 100% trying to link these two programs together.
Well, then we have our mandate.
Okay.
You and I certainly agree. Carol agrees. I suspect Nancy agrees. And Chloe can be our data person. Gina's can help us with transportation issues, perhaps along with Chloe. This is what we ought to be doing right now as a primary focus and without any delay. This will help us get our schools open. We need to get our kids in school now.
Okay, so that is an important issue that I wanted to go after. The only thing that we'll have to close on in some way is the mechanism to get the primary person and the buddy system registered on the same day. Right now, they're still, as far as I can tell, it's still at the mega sites, that the state sites that are doing this. So we're going to be forced to use Eastfield. However, the kind of the fly in the ointment, I don't know how to handle it, and that's maybe something that Chloe and Nancy can do, is if how we are going to register that senior in a way that protects their whatever their personal information is. And again, maybe Chloe and Nancy can work that out.
let's do all of that offline, Dick. We're not going to solve that now. Let's move on.
Okay. My next item was on the 75-year-old and the registration help. I'm not sure that that is germane anymore. That if we're going to put our eggs into the buddy system, then that's going to deal with the registration, I think. What is your thought, Herb?
I think all of that can be done offline and can be worked out, and a plan developed that's going to be successful. We have an opening here. Let's take it. Let's not delay.
Okay, now in terms of the mechanics of how we're going to do this, since Nancy and Chloe aren't here, someone's got to contact both of those people to make sure that we pull this together. Who is going to do that? I've got the choices that I have of on this picture that I've got is Colleen, Herb, and me.
That's it. There is no other choice.
Chloe's going to be on in less than 10 minutes. She was running late, so she wanted me to pass it on to everybody. So she'll be
Okay,
on in
great.
just a bit.
Thanks, Gene.
Thanks.
You have been speaking with Carol already today, Dick. I think you should inform Carol. I will call Chloe, or if she comes on, we can tell her, let's get moving.
Okay, that's what will happen. The third item, and it's, well, I was going to say it's difficult to deal with without Chloe, but it's not, because I already know where Chloe stands on homebounds. The current plan was to take our, I'll call it nominal 50 homebounds and whittle their numbers down. And what Chloe said, it was because of lack of resources at the Amherst site for Emma to be able to get the numbers down. And Chloe mentioned to me that she was asked to get the number down to like 10. That Chloe felt strongly that, and actually I agree, that the plan to use Emma's resources to vaccinate our people, and because of limited resources, to knock that 50-person group down to 10-person is not what, for sure, what Chloe supports. That Chloe would much prefer to get a system in place in our town and to let somebody, whether it's Gene and his group, but some group within our town, to receive the doses and to administer them. And that what is your, which means that we would, let's say we want to do this over 2-3 week periods. So it would mean a nominal 15 doses per week for 3 weeks, and then come back at 15 more doses. The other thing that I wanted to point out is that Amherst is a Pfizer site, so that the vaccinations, the doses that we are going to get are Pfizer. But I did, and Herb, you may know this answer more than me, is it appeared to me that where Pfizer has the more difficult storage conditions, that once they're taken out of storage, the Pfizer vaccine has a longer shelf life than the Moderna. If that's the case, then that may be to our advantage. What are your thoughts?
My thought is it's hard enough for tagged vaccination sites to get vaccine. It's difficult. The state has a limited amount. It would be even more difficult for the town of Granby to be allocated vaccine. So I think we work with Emma to see how many people she can help us, Emma and Jean, to work out how we're going to get this vaccination process done. I don't think the town of Granby is going to get allocated vaccine from the state when the state is having trouble allocating vaccine to its designated vaccine sites. In
Herb,
terms
that's
of
not what I suggested at all.
the Pfizer vaccine, once it's thawed from its super cold temperature, has a normal refrigerator lifetime of, I don't know, I think between 1 and 3 weeks. So enough time to get people vaccinated if we're using Pfizer. So Dick, if I have misrepresented what you said, why don't you say it again succinctly?
I will. What I suggested, and that Chloe also suggested, is that we go to Amherst through Emma and see if Emma could transfer whatever the doses that she can transfer to someone. I'm going to use Gene as he's muted right now, but if I were to say Gene and his crew, who would take receipt of that vaccine and take responsibility for administering it, but through Emma, as compared, and to try the goal of inoculating all 50 of our homebounds, as compared with whittling it down to 10. But definitely through Emma and not looking for a state allocation.
Well, it is a state allocation though, Dick. If Emma is going to use part of her allocated vaccine to sublet it to us, it's part of the state allocation.
So you won't support having anybody ask Emma if there's a way that we could.
That isn't what I said at all, and you know it isn't.
It is not her.
And
I don't know why right now you're being touchy, and I don't know why. I'm saying what I think is very logical, and you seem to take exception to it. I'm not sure why.
So since I'm the one who started the process with Emma, Dick, I don't understand your problems. We need to find out from Emma whether she can provide any vaccine. That's what needs to be done.
Fine, we both agree. Now the question is, who is the one?
And I hope you agree that the person who suggested doing this is on this call.
That's fine, whatever you want this morning, Herb, but I'm just trying to get this done. And what I'd like to know is if
we have marching orders right now.
If you are the person, and I think you probably are, to contact Emma, if we should, of the 3, 4 of us, 5 of us on the screen right now, I would look at it being either you or Jean would be the 2 obvious people to contact Emma to see if it is possible to get these. The first thing is to look at Jean and say, Jean, if you were the guy that was in charge of giving these 50 doses and 2 different times, are you in a position that you could, and if we had Nancy also, but if you guys were in a position that you could handle that, you would have to be telling us that, because if you're not, then the plan is no good.
Well, it's not a matter of if I can or I can't. I need Emma to say it's okay for me to do that, because I'd have to operate under her because it's her doses, and all the paperwork would have to go through her. I am getting trained, and I believe maybe Herb as well. to be a volunteer, to be able to do the vaccinations under her. If she wants me to go out in the field and do them, I'll do whatever you guys want. You know that. It's just a matter of logistics. And
Okay,
if
it
she says,
sounds,
okay, Gene, take doses, go out and do it in a couple of days, I can do that.
okay. Herb, it sounds like you're the guy with the best link to get in to talk to Emma about what could be arranged. Are you willing to do that?
I'm already on my computer.
Good, good. So it sounds like for the things that I was trying to accomplish today, it looks like we've actually covered all of the items for this meeting. Herb and Colleen, do you have items that in fact, anybody that's on right now, are there items that we did not address that we should at this vaccination effort?
No, I think that's what you wanted to cover. As far as vaccination, and I did register some people, a couple last week for the Springfield site over at Eastfield Mall, and the woman, it went fairly easy, but the woman did have to bring her insurance card over to me, both her and her husband's cards, so that I could scan them and upload them. But she didn't mind, she was able to get over here. She brought her insurance cards, and I was able to get them registered. She was very happy. So that was good.
So the assignments right now, the summary is that we are going to use the buddy system. We are going to implement the teacher and staff being the buddy. I'm going to get in touch with Carol. Herb is going to get in touch with Chloe. For the next part of the homebounds, we are going to try to address all 50. Herb is going to be the one that talks to Emma to see if, in fact, we can have her transfer the vaccine. And Gene is the one that said he was going to get into a spot that if we could, in fact, transfer, he would be the one that would receive it. Is that correct for a summary?
Sounds good. Let's get on with it.
Okay, if that's the case, Chloe, I see you just got on. I don't know if you heard my summation, but Herb is going to be getting in touch with you offline, and it for two different issues. One is we're going to try to handle the homebounds ourselves, and Herb's going to explore that with Emma. The other is that we are going to actively pursue using the school teachers and staff to be the buddies of the 75 pluses, and that we are going to try to get Nancy Jinks and you together to try to pull that thing together so that we can hook up the people to allow this to happen. And we're going to try for the double gain here to get our seniors done and our schools done. So that's the summary of where we are. With that, I guess then.
I move that our meeting is finished.
I agree. So have a good morning, and Colleen and Herb and Andrew, I guess we'll see you tonight at 6:30.
Okay.